Hi, I'm Laura D Pusey. Thanks for joining me. I am the founder of Dippism, Death in Practice, and on this channel, we're delving deeper into death, grief, and ultimately, life. Okay, so for some housekeeping, the fire escape is your closest door, but we don't have any tests planned during the making of this video. Also, you'll see that the comments are turned off, and this is for a few reasons. Firstly, these are my perspectives gained from extensive work in my field, and I'm just putting my thoughts out there, so it is vital that I and my viewers are protected from any negative or low vibes. I want you, the viewer, to gain your own insights and find answers that work for you. Your journey is personal, and it doesn't need to be challenged or mocked or even upheld by strangers in the comment section. Finally, moving through the realms of death and grief as I do can be very tiring. This means I have limited capacity and have to be selective about the people I work and share my energy with. Having said that, I do welcome group and personal one-to-one conversations that delve deeper into the meaning of death and the purpose of grief. During such sessions, I share spiritual and mindful insights, perspectives, hypnotic and common sense guidance for those who seek to gain an understanding of death and grief based on their own personal truths. For more information, watch to the end, and if you like what you see or hear, then please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. In the previous video, I answered the questions, what is death and why do we die? We will probably revisit those questions as time goes on. However, today I'm answering the questions, what is grief and why do we grieve? The answer that I'm providing is in alignment with various aspects of my book, Tapestries of Grief, which is available on Amazon. For those of you who already have a copy of the book, this video is really much in alignment with what's being said in there, but I'm adding a few more perspectives. We're taking a dive. What is grief and why do we grieve? Now, let's open the veil of luminescence. With the intention of infinite truths, by the pulse of sacred light, I call forth the veil of luminescence. I anchor this veil in sovereign light to transmute and contain all energetic imprints, attachments, and residues across all realms. The material plane, where grief etches into the body. The emotional plane, where sorrow swells and purges. The mental plane, where stories of loss seek resolution. The astral plane, where echoes of the departed linger. The interdimensional corridors, where ancestral and cosmic threads intertwine. The parallel universes, where grief and grace mirror each other. This veil, woven of remembrance and radiance, is encoded with clarity to discern what is yours and what is not. Containment to protect your field, compassion to honour the sacred work of grief, transmutation to alchemize pain into wisdom. Let this veil shimmer between worlds, holding space for the divinity of each soul, the teachings where presence dissolves suffering, the soul's awakening where death births depth, the healing where grief becomes grace. This veil is not a wall but a sacred membrane, allowing only what aligns with truth
love, and remembrance to pass through. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light.
Hey, thank you for joining me. In today's session, we are answering the questions, what is grief and why do we grieve? Grief refers to deep sorrow, especially caused by someone's death or a significant loss. The actual word grief is a label or a term that we use to describe the experience of sorrow or sadness caused by loss. If someone is feeling grief, they are experiencing that deep emotional state of sorrow, and we use the word grief to refer to that experience. The word grief is a noun because it represents the concept or thing of sorrow or deep sadness. It's what someone experiences when they feel sorrow, often due to loss. So the word grief is a concept, and the concept that we are discussing right now is the feeling of sorrow. So the word grief is not just a title or a definition, it is something that exists or is felt, but it's not something that is physically tangible, it's abstract, like love or happiness. It's like how we use the word happiness to refer to the feeling of joy or contentment. It doesn't cause happiness, but it's how we describe a collection of feelings. To grieve is to feel or express sorrow, especially after a loss or a death. However, I say especially after because I have personally learned that it is possible to grieve the life of another whilst they still live. For example, relationships die, health may be failing, you could be coming to the end of your career, or maybe your children have flown the nest. The word grieving is a verb, but in this instance, it's used in continuous or progressive forms. For example, you may be grieving your father's passing. Grieving describes an ongoing action or a process, and yes, it can become prolonged, complicated, exaggerated, and distorted. In fact, there are a great many types of grief, and we all grieve in different ways. Grief is universal. It's something that we will all do many times in our lives. The past tense of grieve is to have grieved, which tells you that the action of grieving already took place. You may have grieved the loss of someone or something dear to you for months, even years. In truth, you may never get over your loss, but once you truly understand grief, you will find that your grief can get a lot lighter. What do I mean by overstanding? Well, grief is an energy, and how we interact with that energy depends rather much on our recognition of it. To recognize grief is to understand that it is present. Our understanding comes from what society tells us is right, wrong, or acceptable, etc., etc. If we see that we are emotional, experiencing deep sorrow and low mood, it's likely that we are grieving something that we have lost at some point in our lives. Remember, you don't even have to have experienced a death To stand in your grief is to examine what it is that you are actually experiencing. It may be pain, anger, fear, guilt. When we acknowledge it, we can work with it. So to overstand grief is to take authority over it. It is to respect your own grief without comparing it to how others appear to be handling theirs. Now, I work best with people who are ready to overstand their grief. We all experience it in different ways, and when you go deeper within yourself to form an overstanding of how it is that you experience grief, it is at that moment that you gain inner standing. So why do we grieve? We grieve because we have lost someone or something very important to us. We grieve because we have loved, and at times we don't actually realise that we had love for a person. In truth, we don't really know what love is, and often just associate it with our feelings and the people that we surround ourselves with. But love is a lot bigger, deeper, and actually, you know what? Love in its fullest form is actually just as mysterious a phenomena as that which we commonly refer to as death. The truth of the matter, though, is that we grieve for ourselves. We grieve for our losses, for that which is now physically gone from our lives. It's actually amazing how much people actually contribute to our lives, and yet, while we live, we often take them for granted. We assume that they will always be there for us in some way or another. We don't realise enough that people have lives, thoughts and feelings of their own, and that they also affect other people in different ways. All we can truly be aware of is the effect that a person has on ourselves. That's why grieving is a selfish act, and one that you have every right to process. You honour a lost relationship by grieving it. Even if your car got trashed, grieve it. It meant something to you and provided an opportunity for you to live fuller, quicker and more efficiently, maybe even more. Maybe you had the best laughs and the fondest memories with those that you love in that good old faithful car. You honour the person you have loved by grieving their loss from your life. Their departure may have been sudden, unexpected, tragic, or even long awaited, perhaps seemingly overdue, but the result will always be that of loss, and your feelings may take you by surprise. You may wonder why you are reacting to the death or the loss in such a way. It's okay. Your body and your mind are doing their thing. Let the tears flow. Be angry, shut down and lose it if you must. Expressing yourself is socially shunned, but you know what? It's okay for you to feel however you are feeling. Be in your feels. This is your time for healing. Take it. And it may help those around you to understand that you need some support, a break, or some kind of leeway. This is something that I want you to stand. Your body and your mind both grieve. It physically hurts when someone you love dies because the cells in your body know the person and they know how much that person meant to you and what they brought to your life. And now you're left with this feeling that it's all gone. And I get it. However, the fact that you personally experienced their love, their company, their energy and their time, regardless of how you experienced it, means that you still have those feelings that they evoked within your body, your heart and your soul. They are lodged there with every laughter, every glance, and every expression and touch. The body never forgets. Now, let's not get it twisted. Not everyone is a great person in your life, and some people are downright horrible. But you may still mourn them, and the fact of the matter is that whatever the nature of the relationship that you have had with another, be they dead or alive, they are providing you with an opportunity to level up and succeed, or shrivel, which means that you are actively declining in your mental, emotional, spiritual, and practical growth. Now, it's entirely up to you what you choose to do with the experiences that people bring to your life, because until you yourself die, you live. And whatever you choose to do with your life is just another experience, a story, or a chance to do things differently. As I explain in my workbook, Tapestries of Grief, when someone you are fond of dies, there will be times when you question your sanity, your emotions, and your ability to carry on. This is grief. You may be able to smile and laugh as happy memories filter through your mind. When out and about, you may appreciate new experiences that occur, and you may even experience humour and elation. It's okay. On other occasions, you may struggle to get out of bed, and you may feel unable to function as your world slows down in an appearance of utter darkness. That too is okay. Don't push. Allow yourself time as you go through this period of adjustment. Grief works through all of our feelings and emotions to heal the body and the mind, and although it can hurt like hell, grief is not the enemy. It is a natural response to loss, and to accept it is to gain an inner knowing of one's true self. It's okay to be low, it's okay to cry, and it's okay for you to take time out for yourself. After years of knowing and loving and caring for those who are no longer with us, feeling like shit over their loss is the most natural thing in the world. Okay, so I've said a lot, and I'm not charging you for any of it, but what I will ask is that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If I have said something that you think another person would benefit from, please share this video with them. Never judge the way another person grieves. It's none of your business. Contrary to what society will have you believe, there is no generic right or wrong way to grieve. The person that you are concerned about might need a doctor. They might not. They might just need for you to stop, take some time and listen to them, or leave them the hell alone. If you want to speak to me or work with one of my grief practitioners, contact us at www.dipism.com. I do have to be choosy about who I work with because, gosh, your stories can get really heavy at times, okay? And that's also why the comments are turned off. There are links below. We do have courses and much more coming. If you want to attend one of our monthly group sessions, click those links and go through. If you are bursting to let me know about the effect that this video has had on you, then you are welcome to send me an email at deathinpractice@gmail.com. And if you want, I'll send you a shout out in one of the next videos. Again, my books, My Life's Tapestry and Tapestries of Grief, are available on Amazon. Now, let us close the veil of luminescence.
By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I honour the veil of luminescence now fulfilled. This veil, once summoned to transmute and contain, has held the field with clarity, compassion, and sovereign light. As the teachings settle and the soul integrates, I call forth the sacred closure of this veil across all realms. On the mental plane, let the body rest in renewal. On the emotional plane, let sorrow soften into spaciousness. On the mental plane, let stories find stillness. On the astral plane, let echoes return to source. Through interdimensional corridors, let threads untangle. Across spheres and planetary systems, allow contracts to be honoured and released. Let all residues now return to their rightful place, dissolved, dispersed, or transmuted by sovereign light. Let the veil fold inward, encoded with discernment to preserve what is true, containment to seal what is sacred, compassion to cradle what remains tender, and wisdom to carry forth what has been alchemized. This veil is reabsorbed into the soul's archive, a luminous record of presence, grief, and transformation. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light.